Hello, today's video is going to cover Chapter 2, Exercise 1. In this book it's on page 90. We're just going to start right in. The exercise is asking you to open a couple of existing files in the Starts folder. These are the same ones that you have looked at previously in the chapter, and make a few modifications by adding some PHP statements to them. So to start off, as you should every session, make sure that your services are running or your XAMPP systems are up and running like they should be. So locate your XAMPP control panel, open it up, and make sure that the Apache and MySQL services are running by clicking Start next to Apache, and make sure it says running, and start next to MySQL. Once those are running, you can close the control panel and open up your NetBeans IDE. Once this opens up, your project section should look something like this. Might not match exactly, but it should be pretty close. You should definitely see something that refers to book apps and EX starts. If you get this updates request down here, NetBeans IDE is just like Windows. It's got some updates that it needs to download periodically. I'll take care of this at a later time, so for the moment I'm going to close it down. But make sure that you do execute and download those updates whenever it asks you to do that. Make sure that the IDE is functioning properly, and it's bug fixes and features and things like that. Alright, let's get started. Inside the EX Starts folder, I'm going to plus that open. And within the Chapter 2 Exercise 1 folder, I'm going to open that as well. The first thing it asks you to do is open the index.html folder by double clicking on it. And you can see that it brings it up in edit mode over here. The three text boxes are down here inside the HTML form tag. You can run down here and scroll over. Now, depending on the resolution of your monitor, I'm running at 800 by 600 here, which is relatively small, but it works with this video. If you're running out of screen real estate, I'm a little tight over here. What you can do is grab the separator bar between the folder section and your editor and simply slide it to the left, and that'll open up some room. I wouldn't run it all the way over, because you still need to be able to see a little bit of what you're editing or what members are here, but put it wherever you're comfortable. And what it asks you to do is note the names of the three buttons. Now, how do you find a button? Well, it's quite simple. The input tags here, here, and here are all labeled as text. And these are the names: product underscore description, list underscore price, and discount underscore %. Okay, the first thing that it wants you to do after you've verified that is to open up the display discount.php file. So let's double click on that one. I'm going to minimize or slide this over a little bit. If you run this thing now, you'll get a prompt for three fields or three bits of information. This is within the index.html document. So if you type in boots, list price of $100 and a 5% discount, and click the calculate discount button, you'll see that the discount or display underscore discount PHP is still under construction. So the first thing it wants you to do is to modify, or add rather, three get statements at the top of the PHP file to get those three bits of information that were passed from the form. So I'm going to close the browser for the moment. I'm going to insert some PHP. Now, as the book has already instructed you, any PHP should be well above any the beginning of any HTML sections. So I'm going to insert some lines here and start up a PHP section by saying less than symbol question mark PHP. And I'm going to go ahead and put the closing tag here as well. So now we've got a section where we can type any PHP code that we would like. The first thing that it asks you to do is to define three variables and get the information from those three input fields or text fields from the previous page. Well, all string variables in PHP start with a $sign and call them something that is meaningful. There's different naming standards you can use here. The book tries to stick as close as possible to the names as they're described in the input boxes. So we're going to start off by saying $ product underscore description equals, and then you put a $sign. Now notice this is the IDE's way of us helping you or trying to anticipate what you might be typing. Every time you type a symbol like this, or the beginnings of a command or a parameter, it tries to help you by throwing up a list of what it thinks you might be trying to do. In this case, anything that starts with a $sign on the right-hand side of an equal statement. So there's several things here, but the one we're interested in is $post. Now, what I like to do, you can either use your arrow keys to go down to the selection, you can use your mouse to click on it. If you do that, it just replaces it. But what I found to be the fastest way is to go ahead and type the first symbol and just continue to type. So I'm going to put another underscore and then start with a P, and as you see, the list reduces down to fewer and fewer selections. And when it finally gets to the one that you want, you simply press the Tab key, and that places that the remainder of the command here. So once we get the $_post, we put an open bracket, and you notice it's assisting you again by putting a close bracket with the cursor positioned between the two. And now we put the exact name as it appeared in the product description input box on the previous page. So if we go back to index.html, there's your product description, and it looks just like that, product underscore description. Let's go back to the PHP document. I'm going to start typing, and you notice here comes in the IntelliSense again. Keep typing. And I forgot to put the thing inside of quotes. There we go. And notice it also tried to help me out there. Okay, so I've got product underscore description with a $sign to denote a local variable. The $_post is the function which reaches out to the form and pulls in the field named as you have entered it here. And every command in PHP ends with a semicolon. Press enter. So that takes care of product description. The other two fields are similar format. You say list price in this case equals $_, type a P and tab to get the rest of the command up there. Now you can just continue to type post if you like. It doesn't make any difference. It's personal preference. Put a quote and type in list underscore price. And again, you can verify this by seeing what you typed here, going back to index.html, and making sure that they are exactly the same. Now some people, to make sure they don't make a typo, they will come here and they will highlight this and do a Control-C for copy, and then when they get over here, they put a $sign and they paste the name in, $discount% equals $_post, open bracket, quote, paste with Control-V, and that keeps you from having a lot of typos. And that can save you some trouble later on.